Welcome to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I am your host, Brother Hatim, and we'd like to thank you for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe and check out our podcast, Gye-Nyame Journey, Folktales for Grown Folks, on Mile 3. Give yourself permission, Gye-Nyame Warrior Training, Magic Hour, Society Truth, and Tribal Quotes. Also, check out our playlist. We built them with wisdom, mining, and you in mind. So get the wisdom and welcome to this journey. And most Peace, this is Brother Hatim, and you have joined us on Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Be sure to check out our site and subscribe at tribe.gyenamejourney.com.
All my brothers and sisters, hold hands and bow your heads. Let us pray. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth amongst the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? I say, defend the poor and the fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and the needy. Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of court. I have said, ye are God, and all of you are children of the Most High. But ye shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. Allahu Akbar.
This is Kadar Franks, and you are now listening to the Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
Keep up with the journey. Check out what we have done in the past. Go to journeyarchives.com.
This is Adnan Sheik, aka Ace, live from Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
Be sure to follow Gye-Nyame Journey on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. Check us out. Join the journey.
This is Adnan Sheik, aka Ace, live from Shisha Lounge, and you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
You are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio with Monica. Enjoy.
This is Marina, and this is Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
This is Willie. Welcome to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. I want to give shout out to Sibba Kevin, all my Sibba Nation out there. I want to give shout out to my mom. I give shout out to my dad for raising me and my family for being around me. And I want to give shout out to the people of my generation that's trying to do something big.
This is Cleveland, and you're listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
Peace, Hotep. It's Mansour Hotep, aka Mr. Deity. Mr. Deity, does it sound good? I think it sounds great. Right now, you listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio.
If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry his name. This is Brother Hatim coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Shouts out to the Gye-Nyame tribe, Gye-Nyame family. Stand up. Peace. If you're not adding anything to the culture that you claim, you don't deserve to carry his name. This is Brother Hatim coming at you live, and you are now listening to the Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Shouts out to the Gye-Nyame tribe, Gye-Nyame family. Stand up. And you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Peace. This is Gina.
This is Gina.
And you are now
You listen to my daddy.
on Gye-Nyame
Journey
Radio. Peace.
Peace.
All right, family, the lines are open. This is Brother Hatim coming at you live. It's Folktales for Grown Folks. Folktales for Grown Folks. Put the babies to bed because it may be some cussing and some harsh language tonight. I have not had time to even look at the folktale, but I know that the folktale is going to tie into what we have, because what we are going through right now is not new, family. What we're going through right now is not new. Our ancestors already been through this. We go through cycles and cycles over and over again. So the wisdom that we need is already out there. So I'm looking for some of y'all comments. So make sure that y'all call in so we can have this discussion. And if you don't call in, you already know Brother Hatim is I might not be ready. I might not be ready because I don't even know. I haven't had time to even think about the folk tale. You know, life is going on, right? We had the issue in Las Vegas, and my son is down in Las Vegas, so I had to make sure he was all right. Even though I know he wouldn't go to a country concert, I know that he likes to go out there on the strip, and you never know what happens. You know what I'm saying? So we're about to go on, and we're going to get into it. So once again, lines are open at 614-556-4535. Those people bold enough to get on the line and might have something to say, might have an announcement to do it. Tonight's show, I have to send out shots to my little brother, Royalty, Deshaun Sensenbar. I heard it. I heard he's not doing too well, so I want to send out some energy to him, letting him know that if he ever wants to take access to some of the studies that his big brother has been doing, we've gone overcome almost any of the ailments that's going on out there, family. You know what I'm saying? Listen, y'all have to understand that one of the goals of Gye-Nyame Journey is to eliminate all diseases that are connected to the gut. And what's great about that is that most of the diseases are related to the gut, right? If we start taking care of our microbiome would start taking care of us. And the system has thrown us out of sync. We out of sync with the universe. We out of sync with the microverse. We out of sync with the multiverse. We need to get back in sync, family, so we can start building pyramids again, so we can start leaving legacies again, so that we can start building up. And that's what it's about. So I want to send shouts out to Sister Mick Perry, because she's doing it big. This week, they got David Banner coming to Columbus. You know what I'm saying? David Banner coming to Columbus. And what's crazy is I just sent the email to David Banner because I was thinking about, hey, I got space. How can I bring you to Columbus? You know what I'm saying? I looked at the price and I said, damn, damn. You know what I'm saying? But I know that but I knew in some form or fashion the ancestors would make it possible for him to get to Columbus. Once somebody come to Columbus, it's easy to start getting them to come back because Columbus is a fertile ground. Right, family, we right at the beginning of being able to do some serious nation building. We right at the beginning of being able to do some serious tribe building. We right at the beginning start doing some economic building. And it's just a matter of us putting our heads together. It's a matter of us putting our talents together. We all don't have to agree. You know what I'm saying? Unity is not us necessarily agreeing, right? But it's about being able to set a goal and all of us move towards that goal. And all of us have principles that we can all agree on that we want to work with so that we can get to where we want to go. Everybody gonna come in with agendas, and we have to realize that. We have to be able to find ways as leaders, those of us that are leaders, we got to find ways to help people find a place for their vision, right? Because we got to understand we're dealing with a crucial balance, right? It's what's the word for it? They call it a divine paradox. It's a paradox. We're surrounded by paradoxes, and when we're able to work the paradoxes, we're able to work magic. You understand what I'm saying? The paradoxes, in between the paradoxes is where life exists. Life exists between birth and death. Two supposedly opposing things, but in between those two opposing things, life is allowed to emerge. You know what I'm saying? We got to understand that our lives are in the cusp between one extreme and the other extreme that seem to not be able to exist at the same time. And when we are able to find a way to negotiate the differences between those things, we are able to grow. We are able to live. We are able to prosper. So family, listen to me, right? We don't all have to agree to move in the same direction. Ideas, this is where new and powerful ideas pop up. Is where people have differences of opinion, where people have conflict. In the conflict rises ideas. We just got to be wise enough not to resort to just quitting, not just to resort to just totally not dealing with each other. We got to be able to work through those differences, and in those differences, we will find the treasure. We'll find the power to overcome all obstacles. Right? This is Brother Hatim. Let me go to my beginning. This is Brother Hatim, and I want to welcome everybody. I want to welcome you to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio and live stream. We are now about to do folk tales for grown folks. Lines are open, and of course, you know this is a Heart of December. This is a Heart of December production. Where we strive to blow up those old paradigms. Family, there's a lot of old paradigms that's holding us prisoner that we got to start shaking off. We got to shake it off. Shake it off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of old views. We got a lot of old ideas. We got a lot of old things that we got to shake off. And we got to be bold enough to start creating the new. You understand? Start creating the new. Family, listen to me. Listen to me. We will not be able to move forward if we just stay stuck on old ideas, right? I understand the importance of tradition. I understand the importance of the legacy. But every now and then, a generation arises where the world is different. And the generation is able to take advantage of those differences. Once again, getting and moving in between the divine paradox, the old and the new. And getting in between there and being able to tweak it and to freak it. We'll be the generation that's able to throw shit out. We already amazed the world with hip-hop. What's next? What's our next creation? What's the next thing that's going to flow from those of you out there that the spirit is moving in? I know it's moving in your spirit. I know it. But hey, I ain't going to hold y'all up too long tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to hit it and I'm going to quit it. right? I'm going to hit it and I'm going to quit it. So this is what we're going to do. I have not had a chance to break down the folktale for myself today, right? I have not had time to look at it, you know, because my adventure, or what other people call a job, my adventure is in full effect for me at this point in time, right? Which means that now everybody is getting rolled up, everybody is getting in trouble, right? That 20%, that keeps us from being able to do what we need to do, that 20% that eats up all of the resources, that 20% that eat up all the time, right, has risen. And because they have risen, family, now it's time for me to have to get busy at work. So I don't got time to sit down and pop open a book. I gotta, if it's not being played on my phone, if it's not a book that's audible, if it's not a video, a lot of times I can't sit down and do it. You know what I'm saying? So I get up and I do the toast. I don't know if that means somebody just popped up on the line, but whatever it is, it's cool. Cause you already know I'm almost ready for anything. You know what I'm saying? This is my battlefield. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out the folktale. Now, for those that don't know, I pull folktales every week from Aesop Fables. Now this one is from Forgotten Books. Now, for those that don't know, Forgotten Books is a place. Look it up on the internet. You know, type in Forgotten Books. Look it up. You can get access to old, out-of-date books, right? Books in the public domain for pennies on the dollar, right? And the books that's out there, the old books that's out there, for those of you that's trying to build up your library. See, because it's cool for us to get some of the new information, but a lot of times it's good to go to the source of where a lot of these people are getting their information, right? So that you can start studying and you can start doing. I'm coming live to you from the Seashore Lounge, 2369 North High Street. You know what I'm saying? If you out, come on, stop on in. I'm going to be on here for a while because you know these proverbs usually get me going. The translation I'm going to be using is from George Fowler Townsend, because I don't speak Latin, I don't speak Greek. You know what I'm saying? So I got to depend on somebody else to translate the folktale. That don't stop me from going in depth from my view. And I need you to understand, this is my view. This is not, you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to inspire you to start doing your own thoughts on some shit, right? Many of us, one of the things that I learned from my Native American brothers is we all operate with an MP3 playing in our head. We all operate, for those of you that don't know what an MP3 is, and it's too old for that, we all operate with a cassette player in our head. For those of you that's too old for or don't know what a cassette player is, you know what I'm saying? We all operate with an 8-track tape playing in our head that's on a constant loop. It's on a constant loop, right? And what Amblacha or a Vision Quest allows you to do, it allows you to be in a position where you are by yourself and you get to identify this tape that's playing over and over again. And unfortunately, many of us have a negative tape playing in our head, right? Now, if the universe is mental, and I have a problem with that concept, but just in case I've been wrong before. If the universe is mental, and all my thoughts are about how fucked up my life are, how fucked up my life is. If all my thoughts is how shit never worked for me. If the tape that's running in my head is always telling me how I'm always broke. You know what I'm saying? And this is on a constant loop in my head. What type of reality am I creating for myself? What type of emotions am I making or am I producing within myself to cause to rise up? See, because we got to understand that all of these things work together, at least in the Gye-Nyame system. All these, the mind, you know what I'm saying? We got the intuition, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical, all work interlocked. And when one of them is off, all of them is off. So if the mind is producing fucked up thoughts, the mind is going to produce fucked up emotions. If I'm producing fucked up emotions, my intuition is going to be off, right? If my intuition is off, then my spirit is going to be off. If my spirit is off, then of course my body is going to be fucked up. Many of us is running around here with just one messed up call that's causing us to trip in life. And the challenge of Gye-Nyame Journey, the challenge that we have as those of us that are struggling, regardless of what name you're struggling under, is one, changing the mental chatter that's in our minds. Now, What these folk tales and what these proverbs allow us to do, it allows us to access different thoughts. And it runs a story over and over in our head. It runs a proverb over and over in our heads that we can start extracting the positive energy, the positive thoughts that we need so that we can start moving where we need to move, rather than where the world wants us to move. Because y'all got to understand, the world is built up on you being fucked up. The world is fucked up. The world is built upon you being sad. The world is built on you being depressed. The world is built up on you being broke. The world is built up on you arguing with your spouse. The world is built up on you not being able to maintain relationships. The world is built up on this. And once we start making corrections within ourselves, we can start controlling those things that we can't control in our life. We start realizing what we can control in our lives. Many of us are wrestling with monsters that we can't beat by ourselves. If we by ourselves, some of these monsters need to be hunted down and killed by us as a group. That's why we used to have hunting parties back in the day. Some game is just too big for us to kill by ourselves and to bring home. So we were working as groups together to bring it down, right? Prosperity is like a giant elephant that we hunting. I can't do that shit by myself. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that by yourself. We need to work together to bring the elephant down and to be able to cut the elephant up and bring the pieces back to the village so they can eat. Just using the elephant as a metaphor. You know what I'm saying? So let's get this conversation jumping off. So here we go. Here's the proverb. Here's the folktale for the day. It's called The Wolf and the Horse. Y'all ready? Let me take a hit. Man. All right. Getting y'all time to get ready. Get y'all drink. Y'all got y'all drink? Here we go. A wolf, coming out of the field of oats, met a horse and thus addressed him. I would advise you to go into that field. It is full of fine oats, which I have left untouched for you, as you are a friend who I would love to hear enjoying good eating. The horse replied, if oats had been the food of wolves, you would never have indulged your ears at the cost of your belly. Men of evil, now this is the lesson. All right, men of evil reputation, when they perform a good deed, fail to credit for it, fail to get credit for it. All right. Once again, let's read it again. A wolf coming out of a field of oats met a horse and thus addressed him. I would advise you to go into the field. It is full of fine oats, which I have left untouched for you, as you are a friend whom I would love to hear enjoying good eating. The horse replied, if oats had been the food of wolves, you would never have indulged your ears at the cost of your belly. Men of evil reputation, when they perform a good deed, fail to get credit for it. Now, this is a motif that goes deep into our culture, right? This is a story that I heard. It's very similar to this story, where there was a competition where the devil. This is a African American folktale. The devil, being hurt and heartbroken, went to God one day and said, God, creator of the universe, no matter what I do, man never appreciates it. If I do good for them, they don't never give me the credit. So God, being wise, said, cool, well, let's do an experiment. See, this is something that we need to start doing with our lives. The experiment. God said, let's experiment. He said, produce a bag of gold. So the devil produced a bag of gold. And God produced a great hill. And around the hill, he put a great obstacle. Right? And then he told the devil, put the money on top of the hill. So the devil went up to the top of the hill. He put the money on the top of the hill. And God said, let's sit and watch what happened. So A man was walking down the road, and he noticed the hill that just popped up. And he noticed the obstacle, and he said, God damn the devil, always up to no good. So he trudges through the obstacle, and then he climbs up to the top of the hill. And it's a steep hill, and when he get up there, he tired, but as he just make it up to the top, he see the bag of gold. And as he looks down at the hill, he says, curse the devil for this goddamn hill. God damn the devil. God, I'll just destroy him. And he picked up the bag of gold, and he looked at the gold, and he said, God, thank you for the gold. And the devil looked at God and said, you see what I mean? I never get credit for the shit that I do. Right? This is along the same lines. Right? And what this is telling us is this. Now, first off, it's about establishing a reputation. Right? Because in our culture, because we have a culture that's based on relationships, right? It's not economic relationships. It's not about doing business with strangers. Our wealth comes from our relationships. Nowadays we call it networking. We put a fancy name on it. We write books about this shit. But we've been doing this for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? In our culture. You know what I'm saying? And when you look across our cultures, relationships, within the relationships were the wealth. Was the wealth. Actually, if you look at our relationships now, in our relationships is our wealth or our poverty. Right? So now, looking at that, first off. So, when you look at this story, whether we talk about the wolf or we talk about the devil story that I gave you, family, what I want you to realize is about your reputation. The wolf comes out of the field, a field full of oats, and he speaks to the horse and he tells the horse, my friend, I am so glad to see you. In this field there's some marvelous oats, and I would love to hear you feast. Now, first off, let's look at the wolf's reputation. What is the wolf known for, especially to a horse? The horse knows that he is food for this wolf. And he knows that by him going into the field and eating, he's going to satisfy the wolf in two ways. One, he might satisfy the wolf because the wolf was able to help him, but he also is going to satisfy the wolf because by him eating the oats, he's becoming more juicy, he's becoming fatter, so that when the wolf finally gets hungry, the wolf can't take him down. So the horse is dealing with the wolf from his past reputation. Family, this brings the question to you. What reputation have you been developing within your community? What reputation have you been creating around you? Right? What type of friends have you been keeping? Are you running the wolf packs? Are you running in packs of motherfuckers to take advantage of people so even when you do good, nobody will ever recognize this shit? Many of us hang in situations and do foul shit our whole life and then get upset because nobody want to recognize when we finally do something good. You know what I'm saying? I've been robbing the community my whole life. I've been selling dope in the community my whole life. I've been murdering motherfuckers' sons and taking advantage of women in the community my whole life. Thanksgiving come, I want to share all of this fucked up shit that I did. So I start giving out turkeys, and then I get upset when motherfuckers take the turkey from me and still have disdain for me. One good deed never overturns a lifetime of fuckery. One good deed could never overturn a life of fuckery. Many of us and many of in our circle are living lives of fuckery and want to turn it around with one good deed. They want to take advantage. Like, for example, the wolf is acting like, in a sense, him coming out of this field full of oats. He discovered this field and he's doing something good. He's the root of the good. Right? He's in a sense the benefactor. You know what I'm saying? He's the philanthropist that's giving this to the horse. This is the way he's talking. Right? When the field been there the whole goddamn time. Right? See, a motherfucker that's no good is always gonna try to take advantage of the moment. Right? Take advantage of the moment. Now, I'm saying this to say this to y'all right now. Right now, what we're talking about, and this whole black consciousness and being a woke shit, is becoming very popular, right? So right now, what we're going to have is we're going to have a bunch of people that's been on the sidelines all this time, all of a sudden popping into our field of oats, oats that some of us been carrying and eating on for the last 25 years, and all of a sudden pop off. Like they've been doing something. I'm going to give you a little advice. You know what I'm saying? You know, I knew this for a long time, so I'm going to just share it right now. Some of y'all can think about it. Think about it. Right now, y'all having conversations with people that you thought you would never have conversations with about some shit that is requiring thought. And y'all got to understand, this is the thought of the moment. See, because if you old enough, you realize that this cycle that we're going through right now, where people are waking up, young people are getting active, you know what I'm saying, people are studying, you know what I'm saying, there's a boom on black conscious websites where people is pulling off information and people are learning shit and people having conversations. This is a cycle. Many of us have been through this. And I don't want you to get fooled by somebody that's going to go in, because this is what's going to happen. Somebody who has more than you, somebody who has achieved more physical things than you in life, they're going to make a come up on this shit. Because the masses just are looking for acceptance. And they do care where acceptance comes from, because they don't want you to accept them. You know why? You know what I'm saying? Because you got, most of us that's coming from this lifestyle got just as much as them. So what can you tell me? Brother Tim, you've been struggling for years and you still driving around in that old ass van. You don't have nothing to give me. You know what I'm saying? But let somebody with a little bit of money come and say some of the same shit Brother Tim is saying. You know what I'm saying? Let some motherfucker that's been on Facebook acting a fucking fool and doing foolish shit for 5 years pop up and do some shit. Jump on YouTube, jump on Spreaker. And watch how many hits they get. Some of y'all been doing this shit and y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. But this is the test. We can't give up. We can't be weak. You see what I'm saying? Because we're the foundation. We're the foundation. The thing you have to learn how to do is, because as much as the horse may have not wanted to go into the field and get the oats from the goddamn wolf, more than likely that horse is going to end up in that field. Family. You need to, sometimes we have to be strategic in who we trust. But then we also know that there's certain things that we got to get. And we need to be able to use it towards our advantage. We need to be able to use it towards our health. We need to use it to be able to build towards what we're building towards. We need to use the momentum to help us move and to help us build. Because out of every 100 people, right, family, we only have to get 1 or 2. That's it. That's it. This is why I don't just give up on none of the shit that I'm doing, right? Because all I need is 1 or 2. Now, I know some of y'all, oh, that's fucked up. No, I can't do that. But I've been in it long enough. I know. I've been through the cycle in my life. And my elders told me about the cycle in their life. Nomo used to tell me about the food co-op. When he used to do the food co-op in Columbus, he said, man, when we in the first African Center, because we're the African Center, well, a lot of y'all even know about the African Center for Study and Worship, but at one point in time, the African Center for Study and Worship was not only a center for Columbus, it was a center for the Midwest, right? And Nomo and them used to be able to support the center off of the food co-op. And the food co-op, for those who don't know, is where the black nationals will go out and buy fruits and vegetables, and it will provide fruits and vegetables on a bi-weekly basis for the community at an affordable cost. Nomo ran this shit all the way until he passed away. And for many of us in Columbus, this was like our initiation. Is somebody on the line? Oh, what's up, brother?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself? How about yourself?
Man, I'm blessed.
All right, cool. What you got to share with us today? Did you hear the story?
Man, you know, I just chimed in.
All right, so let me read the story for those that are new. I'm joined by Brother Shaka Young Hasbury, producer,
yes,
musician, singer, a social messenger, a community leader, right? Up in Cleveland, building, right? So the story is this: the wolf and the horse. A wolf coming out of a field of oats met a horse and thus addressed him. I would advise you to go into that field. It is full of fine oats, which I have left untouched for you, as you are a friend whom I would love to hear enjoying good eating. The horse replied, if oats had been the food of wolves, you would never have indulged your ears at the cost of your belly. And the lesson is, or the moral is, men of evil reputation, when they perform a good deed, fail to get credit for it. Now, the bottom line of that is that the wolf didn't really do a good deed. The wolf didn't do shit, but point to the fact that there's oats in the field, which the horse probably could have smelled, and the horse would have found, because a horse is designed to find oats. Now, that last part kind of confused me, because the horse says, if oats had been the food of wolves, you would never have indulged your ears at the cost of your belly. You got to understand, the wolf is lying. Listen to what the wolf said. I left the oats untouched. When the last time any of y'all seen a wolf eat oats? I'm waiting. Anybody? The wolves in our lives don't eat oats. They eat meat, which the horse is. So, point one, the horse needs to be suspicious of that goddamn wolf. Everybody say that goddamn wolf. You know what I'm saying? That goddamn wolf. You know what I'm saying? We got to be able, and now, in our lives, family, listen. This is very important. You need to be able to identify. You need to be able to identify what role somebody is in your life. Are they wolves? Are they foxes? Are they cranes? Are they frogs? You know what I'm saying? What tribe do they belong to? So that you could be clear that when you're dealing with them, you know what to deal with. You can't be mad at the wolf for biting you when you fuck with his food, or you can't be mad at the wolf for hunting you down. If you put yourself in a position to be hunted down by a wolf, you can't be mad at the snake if you pick him up and he bites you. This is a major motif in a majority of Aesop fables. Identify who you're dealing with. Identify who you're fucking with, because their nature, they will never be able to go outside their nature. I see Sister Jackie up on the line. I see Lavina up on the line. Speaking of Lavina, sending shouts out to my brother Preston Harrison the second, my brother. Shouts out to Victoria. Shouts out to my brother Ernie. Shouts out to Kevin Sanchez and Tico Alijo. Go ahead, brother Shaka. You know you better jump in. You know how I get, man.
Hey, you know, I love the message. I love how the message kind of correlates with something that happened on Friday. I was dropping my son off to school. You know, my son is in first grade, and I heard this other first grader standing in line. Like, as I was walking away, this little kid was like, "Thank God it's Friday." And he walked into the school, and I'm like, "Man, what's going on? What's wrong with that?" You know, for a first grader to have that attitude, like he's learning from somewhere. So the piece is that we go into our weekend like it's just time to not produce, like just hang out and wait until the next work week. But where is that sacred time? That where do we invest time into our sacred relations? You understand what I mean? With each other,
right?
Being able to feel what is sacred, the things that we build in our lifetime. Everything that we invent, every product or service that we extend to the world, we have to be, somewhere or another focus on the legacy that we leave our children and our children's children. So when do we make time for that?
When do we build?
And so it is very important with that in mind to invest our time in those who have the same behavior as your kind, because it's very easy to become distracted with the nature of, another species, or pick up the behavior on, what seems to be common around you. But intentionally, delegate that time to figure out at least 3 people in your world that you want to build with, and intentionally making the time to break bread with them, so that energy can become more of a collective will. And of that collective will comes a collective endeavor, which means that there's so much that whatever it is that we had the opportunity to build, the fact that we built it together makes it that much more exponential, because now you have 3 or more who all have a shared incentive in promoting and sharing and profiting and it's building. And that, to me, is what building is. And, I said this, I had this conversation in the barber shop, and the barber was like, the owner of the shop, he was like, we build in here all the time. And I get it. That is the time, for the speculative type of building and the relationship type of building. But when you step outside of that barbershop, what are you and the brothers or sisters that patronize that shop, what are you building together? What are you hoping to manifest outside of that shop? And so this is where we have to intentionally be creators and intentionally, demand of ourselves evidence of our creation. Because we'll sit around for 20 years and talk about a concept before we'll lift a finger to actually create a prototype.
Now,
so when it comes to social evolution, imagine how long that process takes in the first place, and what it takes to motivate it so that you can have grand results. That one piece that I just said, changing that one behavior in a first grader, in a 6-year-old's mind, from thinking, oh, thank God it's Friday.
I get to chill, right? Because one of
the things,
right? Because we one of the things you brought up was we'll sit around for years because we created institutions, but we're not using the institutions to their fullness, right? When we look at the beginning of civilization, and I could be wrong, it's some scholars out there that could correct me. One of the first things that most societies come together around is a religious or spiritual concept, spiritual principles that guide the community. But it don't just stay in that spiritual realm, because they got to start manifesting things outside of that. And this is where we have to take our movement. We are approaching an age where we have to start thinking about legacy. We can no longer think about kicking it. We can no longer think about just going out and getting money, because we know money is not the solution. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the solution, but it's not the whole solution. So we have to be willing to do some work outside of those institutions. The other institution is the institution around here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because we do a lot of building in the barbershop, but then you brought up another point. When do we take the ideas and the concepts in the barbershop, outside the barbershop? Who are those messengers that take it out to the street, and we start using the energy that we were hyped up about and arguing about in the barbershop and discussing in the barbershop? When do we take it outside of the barbershop? When we take the discussion outside of the church and really start building. Now, it's some churches that are doing it, and there's some barbershops that are doing it. But we have to start, one, holding some of these institutions responsible, because if we are putting our money into some of these institutions, we have to hold them responsible. Actually, all of the institutions that we're putting money into, we have to start learning how to hold them responsible. And if they are not going in a direction that is going to benefit the collective, that's going to benefit the group, we have to determine and step back and focus on one of the major questions that ASAP always get us to focus on. What is their kind? You know what I'm saying? Are they just the howling wolf and not the hunting wolf? Are they just a fox that just sit around and be and is satisfied with being wiser than everybody else? Or are they a fox that get out and get it? You know what I'm saying? Are they a horse that's just satisfied with somebody pointing out where the oats are? Or are they a horse that goes out and find the oats? Are they a horse that goes out and start cultivating the land so that they can start producing the oats so that they can survive? See, all animals, all kinds have to get out and start building for themselves, because nobody else will build you. Because let me tell you what happens when other people start building for you. And a lot of us don't even look at it like this. When another kind, another group is building for you, what they have done for you is they have domesticated you. And what happens with domesticated animals? Because above all, human beings are animals. What happens when an animal becomes domesticated? The culture that domesticated you get you to start working towards building their shit. Horses build our shit. Dogs protect our shit. Cats live within our shit. You see what I'm saying? As human beings. Now, as human beings, we got to ask the question then, where's my shit? If I don't have it, then who am I building it for? We got to start asking ourselves those critical questions so that we can start really learning how to deal with the world. You know what I'm saying? As a group of people, we have to ask the question, are we domesticated? Are we sort of like those cows that's just waiting to be slaughtered, waiting to be milked? You know what I'm saying? Is other people providing us with the oats? You know what I'm saying? Are we those dogs that's just sitting around waiting for somebody to give us some fucking cow can? You know what I'm saying? Or are we out here getting it? And I'll leave that question open. You know what I'm saying? Are you domesticated? Have you been satisfied with are you being fed from somebody else's hand? Or are you trying to develop the hand so that you can feed yourself? Are you taking your hand so that you can work and feed yourself? Because we can't feed our children on conversations. We can't feed our children on good ideas. But we can feed our children with our work towards our legacy. Because this is the issue. And you know it's real when you can pass it down. I can't pass down my job. I love it. But I can't pass it down. You know what I'm saying? I can't pass down this old ass car. You know what I'm saying? But I can pass down the books that I've been working on. I can pass down the access code to all my shit so that when I'm too old to do it, my daughter can start doing it. I'm training her. I'm training my son. You know what I'm saying? I could pass down that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I could pass down the concept of, listen, we are moving towards freedom. What does freedom mean? Freedom means that we can provide shit for ourselves. And we're able to get out and get it. We're able to compete in a world that's full of competitors. You know?
Right.
You know, so that's where we at. I want to send shouts out to Brother Will. I see you up on the line, Brother Will. Jacqueline, what's going on, girl? You ain't called in or nothing. Now, for those that don't have time to necessarily chime in, y'all can download this and listen later, or you go to Gye-Nyame and you can download the show. Like and share. I need people to start sharing, right? Just click the share button. Let people know, right? I saw Quasi Low on the line too. I'm kind of surprised he didn't pop up on my ass, but you know, if I would have put it out there early, it'd have popped up. You know what I'm saying? But we got to start having conversations.
What's up, Quasi?
Go ahead.
All in, man.
So I'm gonna read it one more time, cause we ain't gonna beat a dead horse. Even though, you know, it's the horse of the wolf. We ain't gonna beat a dead horse, cause I gotta get home and I have to get ready for tomorrow. Y'all notice I don't wear nothing but blue. And the reason that I wear the blue, and I got different colored ties, is because the uniform that I asked the kids to wear, that the school asked the kids to wear, is the blue slacks, the light blue shirt. You know what I'm saying? So what I decided to do this year is not just talk about the dress code, but to start to wear the dress code. Because this is another critical piece. If we want our kids to do it, we got to set the example. You want to build, you want your children to build, set the example. Then if they go wayward, if they become wayward, then you know what I'm saying? Listen, I done set it up for you, right? I don't have a lot of money, but I done set it up for my kids for at least the next 10 years. All I got to do is maintain. That's it. Let's set it up for the next 10 years for y'all, so you can be immersed in this type of information, so that you can be immersed in it, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep on doing these. I'm gonna keep on doing the daily toast because I want my kids to be. I want them to be able to see me trying to plant oats. I'm trying to plant oats for you. I'm trying to plant ideas for you. I'm trying to demonstrate small actions. Small actions. See, and this is another piece that we stumble on. We think that every move we got to make got to be a big, major move. Nations are built one small step at a time, family. One small step at a time. We got so much we got to cover that if we focus on all of it, we'll get frustrated and just fucking give up and just work for our retirement and wait for ourselves to get sick so that we can eat up all the retirement money and all the money go right back in to the system that we're supposed to be fighting. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it one step at a time. I'm going to start with the ancestors. I'm going to start with the words of the ancestors. And I'm going to build from there. Just my part. Other people's doing other parts. Now what we got to do is connect the spokes on the wheel so we can start rolling. And rolling down the road. And then when we run into competition, we can either pass them or roll over their ass. Because everybody else is trying to roll over us. Right? So Shaka, you got any final words for the people before we get up out of here? Because we ain't going to burn it up.
Hey man, I'm going to say like I always do. In life we're either sheep or wolves until a real lion roll around the bend. And whether you the lion, whether you the wolf, or whether you the sheep, it's all your decision. And and I got my son right here, unbelievable artist. It looked like he drew the Jackson 5. Give me 1 second, son. All right. But that's the one thing that I love about just being. You understand? Is that Bruce Lee, as an artist, as a martial artist, he didn't just teach art as a way of expressing, but honoring the fact to express yourself honestly. And to express yourself honestly with all measures mean that, if you're feeling like, if you're feeling like doing, like me as a singer, if I feel like chanting to a reggae beat, I do that. If I feel like, rhyming some lyricism on the hip-hop beat, I'll do that. If I feel like crooning, singing, I'll do that on some R&B or on some jazz and scat. There's so many different ways for us to express ourselves honestly and to be able to manifest all at the same time in the way that we devote our time. I see they have, you go to a coffee shop, they got little crochet clubs that meet in the coffee shop every week, and they're constantly creating. And then a lot of times they're giving their garments away to those who are in need. So all in the same time that they spend that time building and sharing stories, they're creating. And, we can learn something from different cultures if we look, beyond ourselves. So, at the end of the day, when it comes to the more conscious decisions that we make as community, we are either down for each other, we keep each other down, and that really is a matter of, you determining for yourself when you rise if you are going to be that wolf or if you're going to be that lion.
And regardless of what you choose to be it full-heartedly. You know what I'm saying? Be willing to put in the work. Like, for example, the only reason that you're able to get up and chant on a reggae beat or to sing on a hip-hop beat or to do all that stuff is because you constantly are working at your craft. Bruce Lee talked about to be human is to fully, like you said, to fully be able to express yourself. So what Bruce Lee did was he trained himself to be what he wanted his other martial artists to be. If you was going to be his student, he was setting an example for what you want to be. And one of the things we got to stress to ourselves and to our children, you got to constantly be working on your craft, because when it comes time, when your moment comes for you to express, you don't want to get, you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody invited me to speak, I don't want to get choked up and be so scared that I can't speak. I want to be able to get into my craft. You know what I'm saying? When it's time for you to perform, you're able to perform your craft because you have put in the work. Our ancestors teach us, those who are not willing to sacrifice will not be fulfilled. Period. Sacrifice. What is sacrifice, right? Because you talked about dedicating a certain amount of time to yourself. In Gye-Nyame, one of the first concepts that we make sure people understand is the 224 self-help process. You know what I'm saying? At least spend 2 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 2 hours in a 24-hour period, and you working on you, which means you working on your craft, you working on getting to know you getting to know your weaknesses, and you getting to know your strength. Because your enemy is working 24 hours a day to keep you away from knowing who and what you are, family. And we have more opportunity now to be, we got access to all types of information. Many of us are on information overload. The issue is that you're not focusing on what it was that you chose to incarnate at this time for. Once you find your focus, the doors will start opening up for you. Some of y'all wanted to be politicians and you put it off and you think it's too late. No, it's not too late. Look at some of those old fuckers in Washington right now. You know, some of y'all wanted to be musicians. No, it's not too late. Pick up an instrument and start mastering and start understanding that once you start honing in on your mastery and you become proficient at one skill, that one skill start bleeding over into other parts of your life, and you start, like for example, as a musician, you start to see how music correlates with life. So you know how to live your life in rhythm. You learn how to live your life in tune with everything else. As somebody that speaks, as somebody that look at the Proverbs and the quotes on a daily basis, as somebody that gets up and salutes the ancestors, right? I'm starting to realize and see how they influence life, and I'm able to see and ask the questions that will bring about results for me. Because this is what I do. This is what I decided to focus and to practice. Bruce Lee decided to do it with martial arts. Muhammad Ali decided to do it with boxing. What are you going to decide to do it with? What are your oats that you're going to be going to the field to get? Even if sometime the wolf may point out the field to you, you just got to realize when the wolf is lying. Motherfucker, you ain't providing me with these oats. Motherfucker, you ain't eating these oats. You ain't happy that I'm getting these oats. You know what I'm saying? You want to act like you want to make yourself bigger and make yourself feel good. So,
oh my goodness. Hey, Tim.
Go ahead.
Hey man, I'm sitting here trying to figure. I know you was about to close up and everything, man. But I got something.
Go ahead.
I was so inspired, man, this week. It was something so big and something that was right. It's right in your face right now. I don't know if you have seen it or not, but you tell me. Have you checked out the 25th anniversary of Def Comedy Jam on Netflix?
No, I ain't seen it. And my mom was telling me about it.
Oh man,
break it down.
It's the most. You know what? Honestly, man, it was the most beautiful experience ever.
Ever?
The way that we carry a ceremony, all the components were there. There was one point that had me teary, man, because they had like maybe 10 comedians who they're basically pouring libation for who would grace the stage at Def Comedy Jam, who are no longer with us. And the last one that they show, of course, is Bernie Mac. And so, when you have Bernie Mac from D.L. Hughley and Steve Harvey, it lets you know once again how big. The whole thing lets you know how big black comedy is to our culture in terms of information getting to us. You understand? But how instrumental Def Comedy Jam was for the entire culture. And, it was just such a ridiculous portrayal of, and when I say ridiculous, like magnificent, portrayal of everything. You had Tracy Morgan come out on stage and say, you know what? Something don't feel right. And he pointed out at Martin Lawrence. He was like, Martin, I remember, when I was a wannabe and you said, come eat at my table. And he looked at Puff. He was like, just like you do with your artist, Puff. He was like, Martin is my Puff. You know what I mean? That's the one that brought me in. And that right there, like, yo, we needed to see that because, it's hard what they do. It's hard, but they had a responsibility, and a lot of them, even through us, the nation builders, is mentors. We're looking at Def Comedy Jam like, oh man, it's too much profanity for the kids or for our culture. This is not what we, fought for this shine time for, and all of that, all the way up until the 25th anniversary piece comes, and you see how instrumental they were as a unit from Russell on down. So, big ups to that because, I was probably one of the ones that, on a date night would not put on Def Comedy Jam because it was, a little vulgar, not all the time, maybe depending on who. I don't know. Okay, maybe I'll take that back. All right, I watch Def Comedy Jam, but that's, you understand what I'm saying? It's like, it's part of our culture, and a lot of the quotables that come off of that show. There's tons. I couldn't even begin.
The comedian, is part of that griot, that Creole tradition that we have. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to a lot of the African folk tales actually told, even to the children, some of them are very vulgar. And even when you go to our brothers and sisters as Native Americans, some of them are very, very vulgar, right? Because the vulgarity throws people into it shocks you. And I told y'all about trauma. When somebody shocks you, it gives them an opportunity just for that split second of shock to throw something into your subconscious. Now, we got to be careful about what we allow in, right? And we don't have a school where we're teaching artists about their skill and about their magic. You know what I'm saying? So we got other people come in and say, oh, you're a brilliant comedian, but yet not having a venue where we could develop a level of consciousness with that, because consciousness does not mean that you don't have fun. Consciousness does not mean that you don't partake on some, like I'm doing hookah right now. Consciousness is not something that you lay back and feel that you better than somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or higher than somebody else. And sometimes that vulgarness opens the minds and opens the ears of those who otherwise wouldn't listen. Because in the vulgarity, they are able to express truth. In our culture, the only motherfuckers that's been able to express truth is either preachers or comedians or musicians. Just think about it. You know what I'm saying? In some form or fashion, most of them came up through that tradition. Marcus Garvey. A lot of people don't. Marcus Garvey, part of his movement was a church. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the Nation of Islam. church. You know what I'm saying? For lack of a better words. Dick Gregory, comedy. You know what I'm saying? Look at a lot of people. Look at where a lot of the leadership from our community comes, because we have not set up a institution where they could be groomed by us and to work towards us building. Is still happening. Our ancestors are still working, because through some of this comedy and some of the ideas that some of the most vulgar comedians brought about cause individuals to think. And that's a powerful piece. When you get the people thinking about their situation, you laugh about it, but then you start going home and you think about that shit. Damn, he talked about driving around in an old car. I'm driving around in an old car. He talked about how fucked up his life is, how he can't get his... Start asking questions. Well, you know, a lot of it be about sex and relationships. Why are a lot of our relationships in the situation they're in? This causes people to start thinking and hopefully start researching. Some people do. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
right,
family, it's that time. I try to keep it to an hour, and I want to thank Brother Shaka for joining me, and the one person that hung in there. Or maybe it's more of y'all, I don't know. Facebook might be cutting it off, but I see there's a bunch of people that popped up on the timeline. I want to thank all of y'all. I want to remind you to like and share, and let's continue. Paul Mooney, yeah. See, you think about Anubis says Paul Mooney is one of his favorites. Think about some of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Paul Mooney is brilliant, and Paul Mooney fueled a lot of the old school comedians, if not some of the new schools, because some of the skits that you saw on Dave Chappelle, Paul Mooney was intimately involved in that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Hot Tim.
Go ahead.
I gotta say one more thing, man. I'm so sorry for doing this on your show, man. You just said you're trying to get up. But listen. I remember about 5 years ago sitting at the bar saying that one thing that we need to do that has not happened is an Eddie Murphy roast. And the reason I said we needed to roast them is because once everything is out in the air, it was given permission to go back on stage and do another stand-up, right?
Oh.
And I remember us sitting there and trying to think of 10 people that you would invite to an Eddie Murphy roast. And of course, Paul Mooney is one of the ones who you definitely had. But I'm going to get to the point. They ended up not doing a roast. 6 months later, I see on Spike TV, they had an Eddie Murphy tribute. And it was a beautiful tribute. But Arsenio tried to hand on the mic at the end, and he would not do it. And the reason is like you said, not just the vulgarity, but just being there. I think that the one thing that needs to happen is for people just need to say flat out, yo, Eddie, yeah, you did that. We forgive you. You know what I mean? And
well, hold on. Check this out.
Wait.
What is the symbol of your group?
Black Phoenix.
The Phoenix. What is the symbol of Gye-Nyame?
Phoenix.
The Phoenix, right? What is special about a Phoenix? Why the Phoenix?
Is because of the rebirth through a purification.
What type of purification?
What do you mean?
How does a phoenix purify and rebirth himself?
Fire.
Through fire. A roast.
Fire.
He's roasted. Right? Sometimes it takes that fire. That fire is an important symbol. That roast, when you talk about roasting and purifying, you know what I'm saying? So that he feel free to get up again. He had that fire put back on his ass. That rebirth. You need fire for rebirth. This is why in initiations, right? Initiations ain't nice and calm and meditation type shit. You know what I'm saying? You do all that before the initiation period. When the initiation period comes, it gets hot and sweaty. You know what I'm saying? When you look at initiations cross, they rebirth you through a fire, right? You know, because, you know, like, for those that's in Gye-Nyame, y'all know what I mean when I say, like, that fire. I'm going to introduce you to that fire tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to introduce you to that fire, right? because it's like that fire, once it get burning in your belly, man, it enables you to break through. And I hear what you're saying about Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy hasn't been put on fire. You know what I'm saying? We got to burn it. You know what I'm saying? We got to go through our fire. We got to go through our tragedy. We got to go through our bearing that cross. That's fire. You know what I'm saying? Even the crucifixion is about fire. The fire, I mean, because you think about it, nails going through your hands, nails going through your feet, the pain, the sweat, that's fire. A symbolic form of fire that purifies and gives a rebirth. And all of us need that. Not just Eddie Murphy. All of us need that. All of us need to go to places every now and then where motherfucker could remind us of where we came from and get that fire burning back into us. I remember when you didn't have this. I remember when you couldn't play. I remember when you couldn't talk. I remember when you ran off stage. I remember boom, 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 and it'd be like, oh, but motherfucker, let me show you where I'm at now.
Right.
You done lit the fire now. You done got me started now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so, sometimes we become so beholden and we put people on a pedestal and we think that they shouldn't be touched, but they, just like all of us, need to be rekindled. And I think that's what you're talking about as far as Eddie Murphy. But I'm going to let you go and do your closing thought, and we're going to get on out of here.
Oh, man, go ahead. You take it away, Hot Tim. I'm done.
All right, family. This is Brother Hot Tim. I want to remind y'all right now that you are now listening to Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. We have been doing folktales for grown folks. And, of course, this is a Heart of a Symbol production. Shouts out to the Symbol family. My fault, Simba and Simpson family. Rescue, Release, Restore. For putting the fire on me. Right? Allowing me to experience the fire. And last but not least, we strive to set your ass on fire and blow up your old paradigm. Peace. This is Brother Hot Tim, and you have joined us on Gye-Nyame Journey Radio. Be sure to check out our site and subscribe at tribe.gyenamejourney.com.
All my brothers.